No!
Welcome to the DGD Podcast. I am Robert Reynolds. That is Dan Kiley. College football is back. Football playing right now. And Georgia's game is coming up in a couple days. Dan Kiley, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I came from my son's game and came straight into work to work the night, so ready to talk some football. Got all night.
We are going to do that. But first things first, I'm coming in hot and I'm coming in heavy. And it's not even football related. If you are familiar with our show, we have an OG follower from the brigade, the 6033 himself. We have an announcement. His wife is leukemia free, completely leukemia free.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
Completely free.
That is awesome.
Oh, 100%. More than football, folks. It's more than football. So congratulations on being leukemia free, and we hope it's gone for good. Period. Now, with that being said, I want to post something up, and I want to read something. I want to give a shout out to the East Georgia Cancer Coalition here. If you're not familiar with them, give me just a second. Getting through treatment and beginning the remission portion of your survivorship journey can be exciting, and it might be a little intimidating. Many survivors feel like the support systems they had during treatment aren't there into survivorship, but the East Georgia Cancer Coalition is here for you from prevention through survivorship. After treatment, you may be anxious to get back to all the things you did before your cancer journey began. So it's important to regain your strength through healthy eating, taking care of your mental and emotional health, engaging in regular physical activity, quitting tobacco and vaping, keeping up with immunizations, and wearing and reapplying sunscreen every day and every 2 hours when you're outdoors. For more information or to speak to a navigator or survivor for support, please call 470-908-5333 or email info@eastgeorgiacancer.org. With that being said, it is time to talk some Georgia football. Time to talk some Georgia football. Dan, there's a team in orange and purple that we're seeing Saturday. First things first, how are you feeling this close to this game? How are you feeling right now?
I'm just really, really excited. More than anything, I'm just really, really excited. I cannot wait for football to be back. It's one of the things that I always try to remind myself is that you only have a couple of these, right? I mean, the amount of football you get college-wise, it just pales in comparison to how many Sundays you get in the NFL. So I am going to really focus and really enjoy this season because I know how limited they are, and I am so excited it's back.
That makes two of us, and I'm sure the brigade is here to let you know too. It's going to be fun to actually see Georgia football and not just G-Day, but we've heard all offseason that these guys have had a good camps and stuff. Now we get to see that put on paper, right? Let's do this. The main thing into this game, I think, right now from a Georgia perspective is Trevor Etienne and the status, right? Pete Thamel goes out and says that he's suspended, but you ain't heard a peep out of Kirby Smart or anybody inside that football building. At this point, I'm assuming you have I'm assuming you have to take Kirby's word for this. Well, I think I'm going as if he's suspended. But do you think there's a chance that he does play Saturday?
I think Kirby values winning more than anything. And I think that if there's an opportunity for him to play, he will. But there are whispers that this is not coming from Kirby, that this is kind of be taken out of his hands by the administration, that they want him suspended. So if he's suspended, that's where I think that came from. But there's so many mixed messages because Vegas came out the other day and said that he's playing, and that's why they haven't moved the line. So who knows? I mean, actually, I trust Vegas more than I trust Pete Thamel because one of them is never wrong.
I mean, old buddy will casually slip some leakage out there from top to top.
Who's that? Pete Thamel?
Pete? Oh yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah, but no, I'm trusting people with skin in the game as well. They know something. We'll see what happens. I'm just going to leave this right here, though, on the assumption that he is, right? Let's talk about this running back room. With Roderick Robinson being out, right, with a turf toe surgery, you're looking at Branson Robinson. You're looking at this combo, I guess. Branson, Nate Frazier, Cash Jones. That might not sound too daunting, but I think it's actually a little bit better than what people think. Now, the depth is a question. I will say that because after that, you start to wonder if Dylan Bell becomes another name. With that being said, though, I also think that this game might be something that you see Carson Beck air it out a little bit or use jet sweeps, use different types of types of screens to be an extension of the run game, right? With that being said, what do you see? With Georgia, what does Georgia have to do on offense to ultimately win this game? Let's do our keys to victory on offense.
Just try to be as balanced as possible. Balance does not always mean 50-50, okay? Balance can be 60-40. It could be 65-35. Balance is just that you can throw it when you want to throw it, and you can run it when you want to run it. You're not forced into having to throw, and you're not really forced into having to run. So you just want to have that ultimate balance. You want to give Carson Beck the opportunity to really spread the ball around and manage the game in such a way that he feels very, very comfortable. Now, having somebody like Etienne really, really, really helps because he's very dynamic in the run game, and he's also dynamic in the pass game, and he's an experienced back. He knows how to pick up blitzes, things like that. So, yeah, not having him is definitely going to be a thing, right? It's something that you need to pay attention to. But those other guys in the room have been there. And, the one thing that I want to bring up before we go on and talk about anything else is that a lot of people are being a little bit disrespectful of Cash Jones. And I understand that it's people think he's a novelty or it's kind of a gimmick or whatever, the white running back, right? But
The
Georgia played
white running back.
Yeah, but Georgia played him in very important moments last year. Georgia played him when the game was in doubt. Georgia played him when the carries really, really mattered. So even last year, they trusted him in big moments with the football in his hand. Now, I mean, obviously, he wasn't the number one lead back, right? But he got some really big carries in games, and he didn't fall flat on his face. So I don't think there's going to be a hesitation that if they need to give the ball to Cash Jones that they would. And I'm not saying he's the guy, right, or the main guy. I'm just saying that there's been a lot of disrespect. I've heard out of a lot of different people's mouths about Cash Jones getting in the game. Like, the guy can actually play the position, and they trust him. So, but Branson Robinson, another one coming off the injury, I'll be very interested to see how he's able to hold up because I think people forget that he was really damn good before he got hurt, and they really liked him. But overall, my key is just stay out of third and long, right? Stay ahead of the chains if you can. Stay out of predictable positions and try to have as much balance as possible.
I think for Georgia, you have you have to stay out of third and long situations. Clemson's ability to bring pressure and do a cover zero is going to force you into some bad situations if you're in third and long. You can say what you want, but I'm telling you that defense can get after it, folks. And when they do the cover zero situation, you'll see it. They might send 6 and just, try to go get the pressure home or whatever the case may be. It's hard to get it's hard to convert those third and long situations. So Georgia's got to get into manageable situations consistently. I think Georgia has the personnel across the board to make that happen. I think you have to take advantage when guys rotate out for Clemson. Take advantage while they're out. I think Georgia will probably do that. I think Georgia is also going to be doing their best to try to neutralize key impact players too. We've seen Georgia do this very well against teams like Michigan and TCU, whoever you want to call, take and neutralize their players. Tennessee with James Pierce, I think that's another one from last year, was really a no name in that game because he wasn't making plays. It was a non-factor, right? So with that being said, Georgia's got to capitalize on offense, establish a run game, and be able to extend drives and put yourself out of those third and long situations. If you can do that, Georgia's offense should be fine. I will say this, though. If there's one thing I'm kind of concerned about, and I'll ask you this too, I'm looking at Xavier Truss at right tackle. Because if you're going up against a guy like Tamarian Parker or right, I don't know if it's Peter Woods if he's going to be up against Green or Truss, that could easily become a liability if you're not careful. So you have to make sure that the right tackle position plays very well Saturday.
I think you're right, and I think that's one of the things that people don't really talk about is the fact that Clemson's defensive front is pretty good, but Georgia's offensive line is really damn good. So it's going to be a battle, and it's going to be a battle all night long. And whether it's Ernest on the left or Truss on the right, they're both capable. And I think it was us that didn't we talked a little bit last week about how Ernest Green may not have the measurables that Amarius Mims has.
His technique, though,
but right.
Yes.
So I am really comfortable with what I think the left side is going to look like. But you don't know until you know. But Xavier Truss got a lot of playing time last year. I think he'll be just fine. But he will have his hands full. Is he going to get beat on a play? I would be willing to bet he's going to get beat at some point during the game. But I'd be willing to bet there's a lot of right tackles in the SEC that are going to, or in the ACC or wherever the hell else they're going to get beat by these Clemson defenders at some point this year.
Yeah, I'm looking into this Clemson team defensively, and I think Georgia has to take advantage of Clemson linebacker Wade Woodaz, right, number 17. Our guy Brooks had talked this out, and when you go back and you watch the tape, it makes obvious sense. Barrett Carter is probably the more known linebacker in that room. Now, at the same time, one of the things that you'll see is when someone goes out of motion, 17 goes, not 0. 0 will stay in the box. If that happens, whether it be Oscar Delp or Arian Smith or whoever, as Mike Bobo has to capitalize on that mismatch because Wade Woodaz is 6'2", 6'3", 235, 240. He is a very good linear linebacker. I just question the coverage positions that you can put him in. You can beat him in coverage, especially with one of those guys that I listed. I think Georgia can get some explosive plays by doing that. Another thing that Clemson does, they do not hide what they do. They do a lot of man coverage. They send 5, and they show it. And when they show it, 9 times out of 10, what you see is what you get. So it shouldn't come as any surprise what you're seeing. Carson Beck, Jared Wilson. This is something I think Jared Wilson is going to have to be pretty effective on Saturday, making the right calls with what you see. Obviously his first start as a center, I think that's something that we're going to see. Listen, he's got his hands worked up depending on, I think Peter Woods might be actually getting moved out on the outside, maybe defensive end. If they do that, then you look at, right, it depends on which side he's on, right? Look at the guard tackle. But you've got a guy, Peyton Page, there that he's 320 and he's quick. So Jared Wilson, his athleticism, is going to help. But you've got to be smart. And I think that's something that this transition from Cedric, Dan, is going to be interesting to see how Georgia handles that. I really do. Cedric may not have been the most athletic center we've ever had, but I guarantee you he was one of the smartest ones.
Yeah. SVP, I mean, Robert, SVP might go down as one of the best centers we've ever had.
Yeah, without a question. I think
there's an
argument for that. Without question.
I mean, listen, Ben Jones was incredible, and then
Yep.
David Andrews was incredible. But
Yep.
like they were really good. They were really good. But like SVP just did things that was a little bit different, and he had a body that was different. Like I think people view him differently.
I think another thing too to add to Cedric, the way he attacked the game,
Right?
mentally, the preparation, the mental aspect of the game is what I feel like what separates him. Because in my opinion, I think Ben Jones and David Andrews are probably more athletic than Cedric. Jared Wilson is obviously more athletic, but when it comes to the mental aspect, it's hard to find somebody that's better mentally in calling IDs and understanding the game of football than Cedric, in my opinion. So this is going to be interesting.
I think the one thing we have learned about centers through the course of time is that physical traits matter, but not as much as mental traits. And I think it's one of those positions where you have to be extremely talented and smart. Hey, there he is. A little late night.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Harry.
How's it going, Robert? Dan?
Good, Harrison.
Gentlemen.
Welcome in, Harrison. Welcome in.
Hey, thanks for having me, dude.
You came just in time for the Clemson preview.
Ooh, sorry.
Not like anybody's ready for college football or anything, but
hey, man, I already got the TV right here to my left. It's an elite setup right now. It's beautiful.
Yeah, are you watching with Colorado struggle? Is what
I got the quad box right now. I was watching the Colorado solo, and then I heard NC State was struggling with Western Carolina, and UNC and Minnesota are struggling to find offense.
Welcome to week one. Harrison, let's jump right into this. We were talking about Cedric Van Pran and the transition from him to Jared Wilson. Now, me and Dan were having a pretty good conversation in regards to it's going to be hard to replace a guy like Cedric Van Pran. Now, we've talked about Jared Wilson being a lot more athletic, but I want to ask you this. How do you think Georgia handles a transition from Cedric to Jared Wilson?
Man, it's tough, man. You're never going to I don't think you ever replace the leader that Cedric Van Pran is. I don't think you do. I mean, from everybody that I've heard talk about Cedric Van Pran, top class in everything he does. Player, human being, leader, he does it all. As for Jared Wilson, everybody talks about the guy. Everybody who talks about Jared Wilson knows that kid's going to be special. I have not seen Jared Wilson play, so I don't know. But if the buzz inside and outside the building is to be, believed, I don't think there will be much of a transition. It always helps when you have a returning starter in Carson Beck, who's also been there, learned under JT Daniels, learned under Stetson Bennett. He's had two really solid, smart quarterbacks. Todd Monken, been in there with Todd Monken. Always helps to have him there. And then you got Tate Ratledge to your right. You got Dylan Fairchild to your left.
Seen a lot of football. All of them was seen a lot of football.
Xavier Truss there was in 1999, guys. Like, they have 30 years of experience over their right tackle.
It's been 84 years.
Yeah. They got the COVID super senior over there at right tackle. I'm, at least from an analyst perspective, not worried in the least about Jared Wilson.
Let's transition to the defensive side of the ball. I think the main key for me, I want to see how we attack Cade Klubnik and that offensive line. I feel like that is arguably the biggest mismatch on this side of the ball for Georgia. The defensive ability to get through that offensive line. I'm gonna hold reservation 100% because what I saw from the spring game is not everything that you're going to see Saturday. I want to preface that. But I watched in snap one, Sammy Brown just straight ran past Tristan Lee for a sack on Cade Klubnik. I'm not saying it's going to be that easy, but with how Georgia operates the defense through the complexities and through the simulated pressures, they're going to I feel like they can make Saturday hell for that offensive line, trying to see what Georgia does it so well. You wait to the very last second to show you something to then rotate into what they're actually playing. Georgia does that extremely well, and that causes a lot of problems on miscommunication from offensive lines. Do we see that being a thing that transpires Saturday, or does Georgia have to find another way to try to make Cade Klubnik uncomfortable?
I would go out and venture to tell you that nobody's really going to dictate to Georgia how they're going to do anything. I think Georgia is going to dictate to everyone how they're going to do things. I think Georgia has the talent, has a scheme advantage, and has the ability to make Clemson adjust, if that makes any sense. Like what you were saying is like, is Georgia going to adjust to Clemson? I think Clemson's going to have to adjust to Georgia, and I'm not trying to be rude or dismissive of Clemson. I just think that defense is so good and so talented that they're going to cause a lot of damn problems.
I'm with you, dude. I'm with Dan here. I think all three of us agree. I'm really looking forward to seeing the defensive line play this weekend. It's my biggest question. I know you got young guys in the secondary that are going to look to make, their impact felt in this game. But, man, Georgia just needs one edge rusher, one more full-time edge rusher to break out this weekend. And I think this defensive front, I'm not going to say it's going to be 2021 special, but I have no questions if they just find that one other full-time edge rusher who can play all three downs. I think it's Damon Wilson. But I'm looking
wait a minute. Hold on. Let's do this. You said find that one, and you said Damon Wilson, correct?
Yes.
Why do you think that? And then we're going to rotate. We're going to ask the same question.
Robert's a fan.
Yeah.
To me, it's just the upside. I mean, it's the high school rating. It's the upside. You hear Kirby Smart talk about it in the press conference. Said last year we just put him out there to run like a chicken with the head cut off to go rush the passer. Now he's learning how to play all three downs. It's not very often when the head man praises somebody unjustly. So if Kirby Smarts is out there saying, hey, this guy's doing what we ask, which I know it's coach speak, but if he talks about you enough, I'm going to buy into it. So I'm taking Damon Wilson here. To be honest with you, I saw a little bit of him last year. Didn't watch a lot of him, but I know he played late in the year right before. I think it was the Ole Miss game or right before the Alabama game that he got hurt and was out for the season after that. But before then, he looked pretty promising. So if Damon Wilson, who has the upside of that room as the young guy, can go in there and start playing full time, opposite of Mykel Williams, sold every day of the week.
I'm gonna make this call for Dan. I already know where he's going. He's going Chaz Chambliss. I'm just kidding.
Robert, I don't want to change the subject, but at some point, next time you talk Sammy Brown, talk to Dan about him.
Yeah, so I mean,
we'll do this offline. We'll have to do this off air.
So I am very much the person where with personnel, like you guys are so good at reading depth charts and rosters and just knowing where all these people are all the time. I have an awful memory, and I have an awful time of visualizing things off of paper. I am a visual learner. Like I can't read something and apply it. You have to show me, okay? And I promise you, my analysis will be so much stronger once I see this on the field. And that's kind of my problem is that I am relying on what other people are saying in order to make an opinion. And I hate doing that. So, yeah, Georgia does need somebody opposite Mykel Williams to cause havoc. And I'm going to say havoc because that's Kirby's word, isn't it? Kirby likes to say havoc. And it's not necessarily getting a guy on the ground all the time, but it's really disrupting the play. Georgia has a lot of guys that are capable of doing that and a lot of guys available. And I want to see how they utilize them and how they deploy the personnel groupings. So I want to see it.
You know what, Dan?
You guys are talking about cookout milkshakes.
We're cracking up in the chat over here. I'm like, hey, let me not break out and laugh when Dan's giving serious analysis. But if you know about those cookout milkshakes, bravo to you.
I'm gonna let this be known. Here's my edge rusher that I think will make himself a lot of money. Jalen Walker.
Yeah.
Jalen Walker, I expect him to have a significant impact on this game. I think another one is Gabe Harris. I am excited for Gabe Harris. I think by design, I think you're going to see Chaz Chambliss take a little bit less reps than last season. But that should open up guys like Gabe Harris, like Jalen Walker to find ways on the field, right? I want to see more out of Jalen Walker, and I know he can be more. I know this coming from watching him at Salisbury. I know this. But so far to this point, he's been an extremely disruptive havoc creator when he's on the field for pass rush, right? But it's a matter of finding to get more opportunities, and maybe not just third down situations, but second and long situations. I want to see that. But I think Gabe Harris and Jalen Walker more so, I think can have a really, really big impact on this game. But I'm going to also do this. I'm going to slide inside. I think Jamal Jarrett has to have a big game here, because if you can – now, to be fair, Clemson, I expect him to run a lot of counter with Matt Luke being there. So that's by default going to be having to have, Michael and the other edge rusher play extremely physical, right? Because you're going to have pulling guards. I want to see, in all seriousness, I want to see Michael or whoever it is run through a motherfucker's face. I want to see it. I want to see it, right? Remind me of Trayvon Walker against that Michigan guard. Just let me see it one time, okay? But with that being said, I want to slide inside. I think Jamal Jarrett has to have an impact here. And the reason why I say that is because when you have Phil Maffa, if you can neutralize that and stop the run, right, and not get pushed around and stop their run game, that's going to put a lot more pressure on Cade Klubnik to try to beat Georgia with his arm, and putting him back there and forcing him outside the pocket when the pocket collapses. That is a breeding ground for turnovers and chaos. I want my man Big Ja to have the game of his life so far Saturday. I just want to see it.
I'm fine with that. Like I would love for some of these guys to have the game of their life. I would love it. I would love for those defensive players to have the game of their life to the tune where Clemson doesn't score a single damn point or get a first down. That would be amazing. Probably not realistic. But I think Warren Brinson coming back is big, and I'm interested to see.
I agree with that too.
I'm interested to see how well. I always feel like it's so negative, but I don't mean it to be that way. It's just when these guys come off of injuries, it's one thing to say that they're healthy, and you pray and hope that they are, but until you see it, and when the bullets are flying, and the adrenaline is pumping, you just got to get through it, right? You got to get through one, and then make it into game two without any type of setback. I think that would be big, both physically and mentally, for a guy like Brinson, where just get him out there, get him to have some success, and get him through the game to where he can play in the next game. Again, I really hate living in this world before football starts where everything is hypothetical and I'm having to rely on other people's information, and I just hate it. And I know that's not really good for a podcast form in a preseason preview, but I just want to see it, man. And you go back to your original question of the night. How you feeling? I'm so freaking excited. I'm just so freaking excited.
Oh, my God. I know that guy.
Hey,
that's how I feel right now with Dan.
Football's back, man. Football's back. Oh, I'm over here looking at my left, looking at this TV screen to see Colorado is up by 4. I have them at 3.5. I had North Dakota State at 3.5 right before halftime. Was looking great. Just absolutely stole the bag so far in the second half. But in terms of the interior guys, obviously Luden Jordan Hall sucks because this is going to be one of those games where he's going to get some run. He's going to get run later this year, a lot of run. I think a lot more run than he had last year. And I really can't wait to see the growth from year 1 to year 2 with Jordan Hall. I think his nickname is Big Baby Hall. I think, if I remember correctly.
Yes,
I can't wait to see him work. Ja Jarrett, what's the future of the nose tackle room over there? Georgia needs one bad. And that's the guy they took, thinking he could be that. So I'm with y'all here. Ja Jarrett, go have yourself a game, man. Go have yourself a game. You are the future of the interior defensive line. And I guess the other guy that we haven't mentioned, Krista Miller. You talk about a guy like Warren Brinson.
Percy.
Percy. The penetrator of the defensive tackles, the guy that's going to be disruptive. You need Krista Miller to show up and show out. Obviously, He had some, I guess, whispers about going to the portal this offseason, came back to Georgia. Why'd you come back to Georgia? Because you wanted to get developed. You want to go to, the NFL draft. So I can't wait to see it. Really, the defense line in general is just going to be fun to watch. I'm really curious, Robert and Dan, if we get to see the freshman this Saturday.
Which
I don't
one's that?
know Joseph Jonah Ajonye. Now, I think he's playing defensive end, but man, if they can get the freshmen some run in the bends to start the year, that'd be fun.
Let's see. We put this comment up here. Oh, go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I was going to say right here, Harry makes a really good point. Maybe not even breakout may not be the word that I would have used because I think this is a great opportunity for a lot of these guys to introduce themselves to the Georgia nation and the world at large, because I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities for young players and new starters and rotational players to make an impact. I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities for impacts to be made. And so, Harry, great point. This is a great opportunity for a lot of these guys to introduce themselves. And, they can go both ways now. That can go both ways now. You can have some guys who are not ready for prime time, and we're about to find out. And you got some guys who are born for this moment, and they're about to introduce themselves. I mean, how many times can you think of in the past? And I'm sure that list is really long of the opportunity of the times where you flipped on a Georgia game early in the season and you saw a guy who maybe you did or maybe you didn't really know the name, and all of a sudden you're like, damn, that boy good.
I want to ask this question for y'all. What positional matchup is the X factor for this game? And I'm not talking about offensive line versus offensive line. I want to make sure we're understanding of that. O-line versus D-line, linebackers versus running back. I want to get that. Dan, you got your hand up like we're in grade school. What you
I was about to say. Dan's like, call me, hit me.
Clemson has dudes at freaking wide receivers, and Georgia is breaking in a new secondary. So, yeah, it's going to be that. It's going to be Clemson's wide receivers against Georgia's secondary. And I'm not saying that we're going to lose that battle. I'm just saying that is what I'm going to be paying attention to, because you have you have a known quantity in Dalen Everett on one side, and then you have guys that you think are pretty good, and Humphrey and Daniels on the other side, or right, Harris. I'm going to get this wrong. I always get Harrison. Help me out.
Daniel Harris and Julian Humphrey.
Yeah, Daniel Harris. Thank you.
Harris, Humphrey, and Everett.
Right. So
like a good neighbor.
I was talking about Harris and Humphrey are the two that you think are good and think are going to be successful, but you don't know for sure. Everett, Harrison and I talked about this yesterday. He was picked on because why wouldn't you pick on him? You had freaking Kamari Lassiter on the other side. You don't want no part of that. So I think that is going to be a major, major factor. If Georgia can cover well, especially if we can get some pressure up front, right? But if we can cover well, we're in really, really good shape, because the one thing that Clemson does for sure have is talented wide receivers. And if you argue that they don't, then you don't know ball, because Clemson has guys that can go get the ball.
I like Antonio Williams. I think you can't sleep on Adam Randall either. I know they got Wesco, right, the phenomenal freshman, if you will. They've got some guys. Now, at the same time, I'm curious to see how much creation or space, or how much space creation they can generate. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be the question there in regards to that battle there, Dan. Harrison, I'm gonna revert this back to you. What positional battle are you thinking is the X factor for this game?
I really don't, because this is like a cop-out answer, like a really just cliche cop-out. But I got to do it. Georgia's defensive line versus Clemson's offensive line. That was the difference in the game. What was it, 2 years ago now? Has it been 2 years? 2 years, 3 years? I forget. 3 years. Jesus.
You're getting that old already? I like it.
I won't reveal where I was at 3 years ago. Georgia had 7 sacks in the game 3 years ago. That was the difference. Georgia just dominated up front. Now, do I think they get 3 sacks again? I wouldn't go that far, because you don't have 3 first-round picks up front, at least yet. Maybe in a year or two, you could say, okay, there's 3 first-round picks. I see one bona fide first-round pick, and that's Mykel Williams. Now, he has some work to do in order of keeping that projection. But like Dan said, if you can get after the passer, if you can stop the run, which it really, between the tackles, Georgia was fine last year. It was off the edge, which is why I'm just going to keep hammering home. You need another full-time edge rusher. You do. Is that Jalen Walker? Can Jalen Walker play 3 downs? I know what Jalen Walker is as pass rusher. He led Georgia in sacks last year with 5.5, which actually blew my mind last year. Or when I looked
crazy
it up today.
stat.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. But who's going to be the full-time guy opposite of Mykel Williams? So to me, Mykel Williams, if there's any time to have a just complete come-out party in terms of, hey, I'm a first-round draft pick, Saturday's that time. For sure.
I'm gonna go this matchup. I'm going Carson Beck versus secondary for Clemson.
Ooh.
I think that their front 7 is legit, especially starting 11. And they've got guys that might not even start on the defensive line, especially, that you got to watch out for. Stephon Green, Vic Burley, right? I like Jamal Anderson there if he's a linebacker, I think. But I liked what he did in their spring game. But I think Carson Beck's experience here is going to be the X factor. Distributing the ball to the right person, making the checks at the line of scrimmage. I don't know about y'all. When I watched their spring game, the last bit of Clemson football that you could see, if you will, I still didn't see that with Cade Klubnik. I just didn't. Clemson. I just want to let it be known they're sounding like.
Did y'all hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Absolutely did. Sound like a motorcycle.
Yeah, there are a bunch of motorcycles racing downtown Atlanta on the streets.
Welcome to Atlanta, where the players play. Oh, sorry. You see us get sidetracked, but no. Getting back on point here. When Carson Beck, one of the things that I loved about it, making checks, the right checks, audibling it, making the right plays. I didn't see that with Cade Klubnik. He looked very uncomfortable at the spring game. I know things can change, but if he wasn't making audibles and stuff against that defense, Clemson doesn't really hide what they're doing, folks. They do what they'll show you, and then they do it. If you do that with Carson Beck, I think Carson Beck's going to cook your ass. Now, the thing about it is I expect some hard counts from Carson Beck. He's going to get those linebackers or safeties to show themselves what they're doing and make audibles out of that. I expect him to do that. And if he does do that, it might not matter about that front of Clemson because he can get the ball out quick in the hot routes in winners. That's just my thought. Any bold predictions? Do any of y'all want to make a bold prediction or a hot take for this? We'll put it up on social media too. Let us know what your thoughts are. Anybody got the cojones to make a bold prediction?
I got one for you.
Ooh.
Because Georgia may or may not be out of their running back, and a lot of people have questions about that running back room. I still say Georgia still rushes for at least 150 yards minimum.
150. I don't know if that's necessarily as hot as it sounds.
Well, I mean, if everybody's talking about we don't got any running backs left, I mean, then that's
I would add.
Do I have to up it up to 200 to make you?
Yeah, put some Frank Shred Hot on it and put it at 200. No Frank Shred Hot.
Put that shit on everything.
Put some Tapatio on it, right?
Man.
Which one? I mean, sounds like he's a Tapatio guy. Either way.
No, I'm a
You're a Frank Shred Hot guy.
Pete's.
You're Texas Pete, Winston-Salem's, baby. Let's go. Same as Krispy Kreme, baby.
Drink that.
Krispy Kreme.
Yeah. Hot take.
Hold on. Here we go. Good question here. Before your take, Harrison, does Branson Robinson get the most carries Saturday? I think so. I think you need it. The thing about it is the reason why this question is such a good question is because of the fact that he's coming off that injury. With that being said, he's the most experienced back, him and then Cash in base of experience. I think you have to get him the ball more. Now, with that being said, I don't even think we brought this name up yet. Guys, number 3, Nate Frazier could have himself a nice game. And we might see that Nate Frazier era pop off earlier than expected. We'll see. But to me, I'm going to answer yes to Doghouse Podcast. Branson Robinson will get the most carries out of this backfield this Saturday. What about y'all? Do y'all agree or do you disagree?
I agree. I mean, the room is bare right now in terms of experienced guys. You may not have Trevor. You're not going to have Rob Robinson, which leaves you with Branson and Cash Jones. Kirby, we don't forget about Cash Jones. Trust me. If you don't have those top two guys, then yeah, I think Branson's the guy. I am really curious in terms of what his workload is, but I will say this. I think if he does get the most carries, which I think it's probably decent tape right there, decent prediction. I think probably 15 is the max. I think they give Branson 15, and you give Nate or those other guys maybe 10 to 15 between the three of them or four of them, however many they play, out of the rest of them. But in terms of my hot take, Robert, I'm going to go with this one. Carson Beck over 400 yards passing.
Ooh. Damn.
It's spicy now.
Ooh.
But look.
The Louisiana hot sauce.
Shoot. We put the ghost pepper sauce on that one. That's some one chip challenge. You know, the one that Dan
spicy.
I'm gonna have to clip that one. I'm sending that to Stoddard and Jay Will. I think he goes for 400 yards on Saturday. And if he does,
that's a lot of fucking yards.
It's a lock that George is putting up 40 points on Saturday. If Carson goes for over 400 yards passing, George is scoring 40. That's my bold prediction, if you will. Maybe a little too spicy. I definitely wouldn't eat that. Whatever hot sauce that is, would not eat it. But
we're going to put his ass on hot ones, Dan.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm going Carson Beck, 400 yards passing. Robert, I got a take for you. Leading receiver on Saturday.
Oscar
Arian Smith.
Okay. I like it.
Who did you say?
Arian Smith.
I could see it. I honestly could see it.
I have to keep my opinion
bold.
to myself.
No,
bold.
Yes and no, Harrison. And the reason why I say that is this. When you look at the matchups, depending on how often you want to set this up and where you set this up, if done properly, Arian Smith could hit a home run shot. And you think about this. I want you to understand this. If you line up, say, trips on one side, a nub, right? Say you put Arian Smith out there somewhere. If you motion him out or you put him out by himself and Woodass, the linebacker 17, is on him, you take advantage of that deep shot and just let him run right past him.
Have you ever seen Arian Smith go on back-to-back plays?
Hold on. Arian Smith over 100 yards. I like that. That's a hot take.
That's a 75-yard deep bomb out of the gate type prediction right there. I mean, my dream in terms of there's no better opener than what Jim, and it's crazy I'm saying this, Jim Chaney drew up versus Mississippi State at home. The flea flicker. Right out the gate. I don't know if it's ever going to be beaten, but if they're going to beat it, let it be this weekend. Because George hasn't run a flea flicker since then, if I remember correctly.
But George has never necessarily had to, though.
True.
I'll say this. I'm going to give you my hot take, all right? Let's do this. Georgia has 3 picks this game.
Ooh.
Oh, shit. Our over and under that we get from old boy will be off to a hot start. I don't think you understand just how risky this man throws. Cade Klubnik, when he's forced out of the pocket, not by design, and he's running and he tries to throw, he will put the ball in bad spots often. Well, let me tell you this. So Harrison is a big fan of the offensive coordinator. He maybe not anymore, but he was.
Talking about Garrett Riley?
Garrett Riley. But when we were talking about hot names, you remember that Harrison, this is a while back, was a big fan of him, especially coming out of TCU. Right? I'm getting this right. Stop me if I F this up.
That 22 national title just tanked the odds, though.
Right. But so he is standing for Klubnik, talking about how this guy is going to be a junior this year. and his game is just taking a massive leap forward. What does that look like for him? Because
not that great if that's a huge step up.
They won their last 6 games of the year last year, if I'm not mistaken.
No, after Tyler and Spartanburg, they definitely
Shout out Tyler and Spartanburg.
I mean, he started to play better. Like he really started to play better, and I'm not like the biggest fan of his or anything like that, but I mean, if you respect Riley at all, this guy's talking about a massive leap forward. So I don't know, man. I mean, that's other than the 9 interceptions, that's not the. I don't know, man.
This pretty mid-year.
What you're seeing is Cade Klubnik's
sophomore year.
19 touchdowns, 9 picks, QBR of 55, 2,800 yards. Still not that impressive. Man.
That's not the worst quarterback you've seen. And if he takes a massive step forward from that, I don't know. I'm interested. Yeah. There's a question in the chat. Is Cade better than DJU? Absolutely. I mean, that's my answer. Maybe you guys have different answers, but mine is hell yes.
I think Florida State would make that trade in a heartbeat.
Yep.
This is a good one. Wayne Kirkland says Nate Frazier leading rusher. I feel like that's a hot take too, but I don't think that's as hot as other people want to put it out to be, though.
I think it's pretty damn hot because he'd have to leapfrog 2 guys to get that. So he'd have to go berserk because he's not going to go into the game getting lead dog carries, if that makes sense. He's going to have to go in the game and just absolutely light the world on fire from carry number 1.
Who's the last Georgia freshman running back to just go off in their debut? Do we know? Gurley? Was it Gurley? Wouldn't surprise me.
And then I believe Chubb didn't go off in his first game. And he went off in his freshman year, but not necessarily his first game. But Todd Gurley in his very first game ever, he took one to the house from the back of the end zone.
Yeah, I would love to see.
He housed that shit against Buffalo.
Yeah.
He did straight. He damn sure did too.
I know Dan as I think Dan, and it's hard. You can't take it away from the guy, or not take it away from the guy. You can't blame the dude. I think Dan's the biggest Todd Gurley fan I know, for sure. I know Dan would be getting great flashbacks if we see a number 3 running back just take on the absolute house, just house it at one point, maybe twice to Saturday night. I know it'd make Dan really happy to see that again. Hey, it's gonna be weird kind of seeing number 3 on a running back again. Not gonna lie to you, it's gonna be kind of weird.
Well, Zeus wore it.
I forgot about that.
He just wasn't what we thought. After the injury, Zeus never. And that's one of the
biggest
for me. Yeah, that's for one of the biggest what ifs because had he not gotten injured at the end of that high school season, I wonder what it would have looked like because, man, that was some of the best high school tape I've ever seen for a running back, period.
Yeah, him out. You talking about Zeus, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, him coming out of Laurinburg was fucking nasty. It was nasty.
I mean, that was better than Adrian Peterson's tape, to be completely honest.
Ooh.
I mean, that was the comparison across the board. I mean, it wasn't like the one guy said it. I mean, it was. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
I want to ask y'all's question. Out of these comments here in the chat, which one is the hottest take out of the takes that we've seen in the chat so far? Which one is it?
I say it's the Nate Frazier take, but I'm not saying it's a bad take. I'm just saying it's hot because a lot has to happen for that to happen.
Yeah, true.
And that's the purpose of a hot take, though.
I think Harrison's going to pull something up for us again. Let's see what we got.
We got Todd Gurley, freshman year game log. And you were right, Dan. 8 attempts, 100 yards. That's insane. Absolutely insane.
Look at the return yardage. 2 for 127 and 1 touchdown. I was at that game. I was at that game standing in the end zone.
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. With Murray on the team, too. That's even more ridiculous. With Murray on the team.
Yeah. Let's do this. Bringing it back to Clemson. I think Doghouse Podcast has got a really good one here saying that Georgia's won 7 of the last 8 against Clemson in this series. I think the only one being 2013 when we played them in Death Valley being the lone loss there.
Well, and also go look at the overall series. I did not realize it was that lopsided.
Oh, it's
massively lopsided.
It's so lopsided you could put it in a wet T-shirt contest and win first and third place.
Jesus, Pete.
Jesus,
how lopsided
Pete,
that is.
That's a new one right there from Dan.
I mean, am I wrong though?
God, buddy.
Jesus, Pete is insane.
Put that on a T-shirt.
I've said that forever. That's always been my thing. I don't say the JC part. I just say.
So we'll put the social media graph. So Dan, you've got. I'm trying to remember the takes here. I've got 3.
I had Georgia going for 150 yards, but apparently that wasn't enough. So
that's like a Virgin Heat level.
So you made me go to 200 yards.
200 yards rushing. I've got 3 picks from the defense. Harrison, you said yours was. You repeat it for the folks again.
Carson Beck, 400 yards passing.
And we're gonna take Nate Frazier's leading rusher as the chat's hot take of the night. I like it. 40. So I think 43 to 18 is what Doghouse
though for Nate Frazier on 100 yards rushing.
I think he gets 10 carries. Wait, hold on. Slow that down. What?
I was gonna say over under on the carries for Nate Frazier if he leads the team in rushing. What we think?
If he's leading in rushing, I think you have to. Based off of what Dan's saying, I'm going under 10.
So
and the
you
reason
say
I
he
say that,
ripped them off.
I think so. I think you see it in the second half when they're gassed a little bit and you just hit gash plays, trying to kill the clock, but you're just too damn good almost.
Look,
that's how I would see it happening.
I love a good passing game, but I love a dominant running game.
With that being said, how do you think Georgia now with Matt Luke being there? I think they're going to run a lot of counter. I would expect Georgia to be very versed in how to handle counter. Do we agree on that?
I mean, yeah, Georgia runs it to this day, for sure. I'm with you there. I think, but still, Rob, it goes back to our question of does Georgia have the edge run defense to play it as well they have in the past? Last year, setting the edge was a struggle in some games. Missouri comes to mind, but Missouri was very much a stress zone team. So if you want to go meat on meat, man on man with Georgia in the trenches, I don't think that is a way to success for Clemson.
Mm-hmm.
I think Clemson needs to go a little bit more finesse in their run game. Not so much so, let's run counter, let's run power. Because if you're going one-on-one, I think Georgia's going to win. But, hey, you adopt a little Missouri and just trying to get the edge and let your guys get out in space, I think that could bode a little bit better for you. But do you have your running back? Do you have the running back to do that? I don't know.
Yeah. Let's pose this question, and in the comments, let us know. While you're at it, hit that like button and also subscribe. Like 70, almost 3/4 of the viewers aren't subscribed. Let's change that number. Smash the like button, subscribe on YouTube. Let's get that number changed. I want to see that number go from about 75 down to a significant amount. I'll just let it be known. That's all. That's on y'all to make sure that changes. But either way, let's do this. X factors. Give you 1 on offense, 1 defense, no 1A, 1B. Simple enough. 1 X factor offense, 1 X factor defense. Dan, I'm going to let you go first. I feel like Dan's been doing this pretty well today, so I'm going to reward him with the first.
I already know one of his picks. I already know his pick on defense.
Oh, okay.
I already know his pick.
All right, so for offense, I think an X factor. I think an X factor for Georgia, a guy who has the potential to really swing it in Georgia's favor is Colby Young, and I think if he has a productive day, that is going to because I think Dominic Lovett is going to be really good. I think somebody like Colby Young can bring something that we haven't seen in quite a while. Defensively, for me. I think C.J. Allen is the guy that I was going to – I mean, I would love to see the young guy, Justin Williams, get in there. But C.J. Allen, for me, because I think that Clemson's going to try to establish the run, and I think he's going to have to just be an absolute mauler in the middle, which I know he is. I think we all know that he is. But I think if he could just be a mauler in the middle and then make them one-dimensional, I think that really tilts the board in our favor. And I know Harrison did not predict that I would say C.J. Allen.
I was going to go with your guy Malachi Starks. Really,
I know
really
that's why I didn't, because that's low-hanging fruit.
Man, not
Here, so who you got as your X factors?
Defense first. I'll start with defense first. The guy for me is Jonel Aguero. If he's starting a star, we talk about 2 back-to-back great players at star. Tyke Smith, disruptive, played great in coverage, played great adding into the pass rush. Really solid when he'd go down there and strike people. I think I sent Dan a video back at like past midnight watching the Tennessee tape last year. That man Tyke just popped all the time. Javon Bullard was the same way. Love seeing it. If Jonel Aguero is a difference maker, that's big time for Georgia. He was a 5-star coming out of high school. The only safety rated higher than Jonel Aguero was a man that wore that logo on Dan's shirt for 4 years, Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is a freshman All-American, true freshman All-American safety. Jonel Aguero is a difference maker. Bodes really well for Georgia as a whole. Offensively, that's a tough one. If Trevor Etienne's playing, he's an X factor. You're damn right. I'm going to go with maybe not so low-hanging fruit, but I guess you could call it low-hanging fruit. And I'll ride with you on this one, Doghouse Podcast. We'll go Arian Smith, because when you've got elite speed on the outside, there's potential for an X factor. Now, I think everybody's been saying that for the last like 3 years now, or however long he's been there. But this is supposed to be the year. This is a money year for Arian Smith. He's had a whole offseason. Georgia knows they have to get him involved in the game and get him in the game plan. I think that shows up this weekend at some point.
Right at the end of the show.
Welcome in, Keon.
What's going on, guys?
How's it going?
It's been a hellacious day.
Jesus. Keon, we're gonna get you straight into this. X factors for the Georgia Clemson game: 1 offense, 1 defense, no multiple. You literally just stick to 1 and that's it. Who are your X factors for this game?
Nate Frazier, Mikael Williams.
Nate Frazier on offense, Mikael Williams on the defense. Interesting. I'm not even mad about that. So if I'm going to do this is going to be tricky for me.
I
got a question to ask you. With the hot take that you dropped, how your X factor is not Carson Beck is beyond me.
Hey, man, that's just low-hanging fruit, Rob. I thought this was the show where we drop hot takes, man. I thought we just dropped fire takes.
It is, but I'm
also
saying that
Carson's going to put up 400 yards through the air.
Wait, what was the hot take?
Carson throws for 400 in the air.
That's
but
hot,
got Arian Smith as his X factor for this game.
Hey, but
I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing.
You hear me?
Right? I think it's a hot take. It is. That's a good 110 degree take. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is 110 degrees.
On the boldness scale.
You know what I'm saying? Second week of August in Phoenix, Arizona.
Hey, it's hot out here, man.
You know what I'm saying? At 1 p.m. Okay, I'll give him that. Because here's the problem with that. Before Carson gets to 400, you will see Gunnar Stockton in the game. There's nothing we can do about it. He will get to 3. I think, to be all the way honest, I think Kirby will let him get to maybe 310 and then be like, nope, that's it. That's it. That is it. You better get all your deep shots that you want to throw, those 40-yard passes, those, oh my God, is that Arian Smith? Yeah, you better hit him in the first, second, maybe the first 2 minutes of the third quarter. Because, buddy, when that fourth quarter comes, you are out of your shirt.
If he's throwing for 400, our defense, I've got some serious questions about it. because
Bro,
that's the only way we're gonna have to. If he throws for 400, it's because we're letting them keep in the game with our defense.
Bro, if he throws for 400, that is the Heisman
on him
moment
right now.
That is not only the Heisman moment, that is the Heisman win. How many points did you say that we were going to score if Carson Beck?
We haven't gone that far yet.
We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten
Oh, okay.
Saving that for last. Yeah. With that being said, I'm going back to my X factors because I didn't even get to choose. No, I'm not going to take Carson Beck, even though that's a low line fruit, Harrison. Harry. Dom Lovett. Lovett on offense. Dom Lovett on offense. Jalen Walker on defense.
Hold on. I do want to say, just to get the audience prepared, the brigade prepared, we are back with another college fantasy football season for your boy. I couldn't be more excited. I got Georgia's defense. This is about to be beautiful.
So, yeah, I've got Jalen Walker. I'm not going to reiterate what was said. I think his ability to get after the quarterback is going to pose pretty impactful for this. Do y'all want to throw out? So this is open to anything, but any honorable mention X factors?
Carson Beck,
Gabe Harris.
Since you just blast me for it, it's
Gabe Harris.
Yeah,
Gabe Harris is my X factor. Honorable mention. KJ Bolden for Dan. Yeah, no, got it. Good, great, grand, dandy.
Mouth has stars.
Imagine him saying Dan Jackson.
Hey,
I covered Dirty Dan in high school.
I get it, guys, for playing Clemson, but like, Dan.
Dangerous. No one is to go near them.
Damn it, boy.
Right?
They are.
You gotta leave them alone.
Hey, I got one that's not going to be anywhere near the talking points this week, and I saw him the other day. Sorry, Brett Thorson, but Carson's going to be at the top of your just like hate list this week. I'm sure of it. If I see Brett Thorson's face out on that field more than twice, might as well just turn the TV off.
You gonna be one of them toxic group chat fans that just sit there. Oh my God, fire Bobo,
bro, we're blowing them out like it's fucking 3-28, and here comes the. Oh my God, can you believe that incompletion on a third down?
I want to tell y'all a story because I know Dan Jackson gets a lot of clowning going on, right? So there was a wide receiver. He ended up going.
Dan.
Huh?
It was just a joke.
But listen, there was a wide receiver. His name escapes me. He was at Arkansas. What was the freaking wide receiver that everybody in Georgia wanted? We didn't get.
That went to Arkansas.
What's his name? Transfer for Hazelwood.
Jaden Hazelwood. So they were playing in a playoff game, and we were doing it on the radio. And so the play was Hazelwood was on one side, Dan Jackson was on the other, and there's a completion to Hazelwood, and he's running up the sidelines. He's gone, and Dan Jackson from the other sideline tracks that son of a bitch down, and I promise you, he's the fastest white dude I ever seen in my entire life. I mean, he was like Jaden Hazelwood was supposedly like a 4.4 guy?
Yeah.
And Dan Jackson ran him down from the other sideline.
No,
that was like
crazy.
Play of the week for WD1 forever and ever, amen. Dan Jackson is out of this world fast. Out of this world fast.
Got me here that Randy Travis. Man, making me feel super country right now, Dan. Not even mad about it. Guys, let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to jump into our score predictions for this game because we've still got our DGD Pickem picks for week one.
I can't.
This is going to be interesting. So we'll do this first. The score predictions. We'll go Harrison first since you're the special guest, the audible at the line of scrimmage here. What is your score prediction here?
Oh, yeah. Actually, Mr. 400 passing yards. Yeah, you got to go first. I got to hear this.
Since I dropped the hot take this week, Dan, I'm going to up the points a little bit this week over here on the show.
400 yards points ain't going to make no fucking sense.
Georgia 45, Clemson 17.
That's what I keep look. So here's the thing. I made a post on Twitter, and I said that Georgia is scoring 40, and we're covering the spread. and I was like, boom. You ever tweet something and before you click post, you were just like, this is fucking gold. Like this, I couldn't have called it any better, right?
Hey,
Then
that's
the injury
like,
list start coming out. Okay, running backs I didn't even think wasn't available, aren't available. Like what? We go into running backs I didn't think we're going to really get much playing time. That's going to be. Hey man, all I'm saying is this. I got walked down off of that, but I still hit them with the hey look, Georgia might not score 40. Wink wink. Poke poke might be 38. But we are covering the spread.
I'm with you, Keon.
I agree.
That's an ice cold take. Georgia covering's an ice cold take, but I'm with you.
Well, shit. I don't know if you checked last year, but there was a lot of shit there, buddy. We did, but they hit us with ungodly numbers. Like week 3, Georgia money line 49 points. Like what?
I mean, for me, I keep coming back to the number 31-10. I don't know why. I'm just stuck there. I think that's what I said last night, right, Harrison? I think it was 31-10 is what I said.
Something like that. Yeah.
It makes sense though, because if this game has the potential to start out pretty slow because both defenses. So it might not be as high scoring as people think. So I get the 31-10. I really do. My thing is, I think Georgia's defense is just deep enough to not really allow Cade Klubnik that many opportunities. I think they got to find opportunities in either busted coverages, special teams, or just catching us off guard and making saying like it's going to be few and far between. So 31-10 is not a bad score prediction in my opinion.
Well, thank you.
Yet again,
looking out for you, man. Keon, what's your score prediction, sir? Dogs a lot, Clemson a little.
No. Yeah, but we're gonna put it in the number form. All right. I got Georgia 42, right, to 17. If I don't see that, and you know what? That's the crazy thing, right? No matter who
I'm gonna
you
bet
ask,
the under on Harrison. That's what
we're hearing that is what's called belt to ass, Keon. Is that correct?
No, it really is.
Is that the transition or the
yeah?
translation?
No. So here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Because it's funny. No matter who you talk to outside of like the few fan bases that truly hate us, like all the way through, nobody has Clemson scoring 20 points. Neither do I. Okay, they're not getting no fucking 20 points.
If they do, it's like Stoops at Kentucky when he scored a touchdown with like 4 seconds left. That would be the only way.
They score 20 points. You're gonna hear a section of our fan base walking around like we just fucking lost.
Glenn Shugan needs to fucking go. Blah 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 blah.
blah. Meanwhile, the score is like 49-20, and everybody's like, "Yeah, we just
hold on." Keep in mind during Bobo's first stint at offensive coordinator, didn't that shit happen to begin with anyway?
Yeah,
a lot of points to. I mean, like, especially when he came back for a second stint as OC, throwing up 40 points a game, and people were like, "Man, what the fuck? Fire Bobo!" And I'm like. I did this. I just did this. I was like,
it just became a meme at some point, though. It was just like, it's like one of those things like me and my friends, we always talk about like whenever something happens, like something bad happens, you'd be like, oh shit, Mark Brickett's lost control of your cell phone. You know what I mean? So I mean, I don't know. But you know how I know we're back, boys? You know how I know we're back? I went on Twitter yesterday, or X or whatever you want to call it, and I was trying to be nice. And there was this Tennessee fan. They posted like the first game, 6 games of the season. They're like, "How do you think they handle this?" And I was like, "I think Tennessee can navigate that and be 6-0." Oh my god, bro! I got lit up by Oklahoma fans. And then my favorite line is Georgia fan checks out, doesn't know ball, probably been a fan for 4 years.
That sounds about right though. I'm gonna give you my prediction. I got 38. I think it's 38-17. I think that's a fair score. I think starting off kind of slow, but I'd say the second quarter, probably midway through the second quarter into the second half, the adjustments and the depth of Georgia is really going to separate itself. With that being said, I've got 38-17. Dogs on top. Guys, with that being said, we've talked a lot of Georgia Clemson. Guys, Saturday is right around the corner. With that being said, make sure before you head to Atlanta, go check out our friends over at Alumni Hall, our sponsor of the show. Guys, they've got everything you need. Jerseys, polos, shirts, all licensed. So make sure to get geared up at Alumni Hall. You do it online or in stores. If you go in stores, mention the show, get 10% off your order. Go to our website, dgdpodcast.com, do that, and then 8% will go to the Classic City Collective. So do yourself a favor, support them dogs, or go help yourself out, get 10% off in stores, but let them know that the DGD podcast sent you.
Quick question.
Real
quick, because I just thought about this while you were going through the commercial right there. Alumni Hall. Here's an idea, right? You can use this. You can take it with you. Auburn toilet paper. Look, no credit needs to be given to me. None. I don't need it. Just push it out. But just gone ahead and mass produce it. All right. I'll be the number one customer. Okay. Auburn toilet paper.
Boy, I'm telling you right now, I would not mind paying the $33 for shit paper. I'm going to let that be known right now.
As long as it's not one ply, you can really go crazy with that.
Before we get to our DGD Pickem picks, I do have to do this. The Hytoff over-unders, boys. We're going to read these off, and we're going to go over-under. We'll do this quick. Over-unders. Carson Beck, 333 passing yards. I already know where Harrison stands. Running backs, 203 rushing yards. Know where Dan stands. Oscar Delp, a half of a touch. Does Oscar Delp get a touchdown in this game? Damon Wilson. Does Damon Wilson get a sack?
Yes.
And Clemson Tigers, 2.5 turnovers. Do they turn the ball over more than?
Oh, wait. Them?
I'm just reading them off, Keon. Thank you for the enthusiasm.
Yeah, no, we're here.
All right, first things first. Carson Beck, 333 passing yards. We'll go Dan first. Dan, over, under?
Under.
Under. Harrison.
Over.
Dan spoke.
Yeah. Keon, over, under?
I'm going to say under. Let's play safe.
I'm gonna go under as well. So next one, running backs combined 203 rushing yards. Do they break 203 rushing yards? Over under. Over for Keon.
Yeah, over.
Over for Keon. Dan.
Shit, I guess over. I mean, that's rich, but let's go.
Okay.
My dumb ass is the one with the hot take, so let's go.
Yeah.
Under.
Under.
See, I hate this guy.
Under.
He's contrarian.
Does Oscar? All right, over under Oscar Delp. Does he get a touchdown catch or no?
I'm gonna say yes, and I'm gonna say it's the first touchdown of the damn game.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna lie to you. That honestly might not happen. But then again, it might. Wait, y'all can't laugh when I say that because then it makes me sound like a horrible person. Look, I'm not rooting against I'm not rooting against
Oscar.
Right? Wait, hold on. That's the Wi-Fi, right?
Can I tell you something? That man is a beast on NCAA.
Dude, he's crazy.
He's crazy. I'm telling you. Let's go.
He's crazy. Bro, if we get that Oscar Delp, bro, we are blowing out every team, winning the national championship, and I'm drunk crying in downtown Athens with a random person I see. I promise you. All of that's happening. If he plays just like how you can play,
you want to know what else is happening, Keon? We're putting Oscar on a shirt.
Yeah, Oscar.
I'm going under, man. I think the receivers, not the tight ends, but the receivers and the running backs are going to be the ones getting these touchdowns. Unfortunately,
Wait, what are
I'm
you saying?
I'm going to
Unfortunate?
ride with Robert on this one. I think under. I think the red zone guy is going to be Colby Young, kind of like what Dan was
Yeah.
talking about earlier. So
I
I'm
just
say
think we
under.
run the ball. We show a tendency to run the ball, and I wouldn't be surprised if Branson or Nate in that situation. I think listen, I want to be wrong. Okay,
Please let
I
it be
won't.
Branson. Okay. Well, actually, wait. Let it be Nate. Yet again, fantasy football reasons, guys.
You're about to hear some. Listen, you're about to hear some. You're about to hear some wild ones from him because of who he's got on his roster. Nonetheless, I'm going under just because I think other people will benefit. I'm not saying that he doesn't have a game though. I think he will be utilizing this game. I just don't know if he gets the touchdown. I watch him come close.
It's gonna be the first touchdown of the damn game.
See, we'll see. All right.
Hey, it's gonna be a bubble screen.
Ooh.
If he house calls a bubble screen,
how about this?
Play, look,
Hold on. Wait a minute.
hey,
wait
man,
a minute.
If,
Man, I got
if he house calls a bubble screen off of the first play, we're gonna need Harrison to come back to the pod after this because he might actually hit on that 400.
Hold on, Dan.
I'll take apologies that Monday.
Yeah.
Dan called a bubble screen for Oscar Delp. If Oscar Delp scores a touchdown, it's a rollout and him in the end zone on the flat route.
He's gonna hit a snow angel in the end zone as his touchdown celebration.
Maybe, or just stand up.
Would y'all not shit yourself if that's what happens in the game? If we throw a bubble screen to Oscar and he scores the first touchdown of the game, y'all are gonna be like, "Fuck it, I'm out."
Bro, if that's the first play of the game,
I didn't say
That clip
first
will
play.
come out
This will be the first touchdown of the game.
yeah,
I got to
first
clip this
touchdown.
just in case this does happen because it's going to be in the draft. So I'm like, holy shit, he was right.
Yeah.
Make sure you overlay it. Make sure you overlay it. So you have Dan
Maybe the
saying
Messiah.
bubble screen first play of the game, and then right after that clip ends, touchdown clip right there.
Oh,
All right, Damon Wilson, over under half a sack. Does Damon Wilson get a sack? Yes or no?
Over.
Over.
why not?
Why not? We're all here.
Why
What about
not?
you?
Robert, if you go under, we're gonna have problems.
He's just
Yeah,
trying to
no,
be
seriously.
contrarian at this point.
What are you about to tell us?
Over.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'll be
There
wrong.
we go. I was about to be like, wait a second. He's not on the wave?
He's
not on.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give you my answer on this one because I already did with my hot take. Clemson, 2.5 turnovers. I'm already at the over.
Three, for sure.
Did he hear what I said?
No, I didn't. What did you say?
My hot take was Georgia gets 3 picks off of Klubnik.
So here's what I think it will be, right? I think it's going to be 2 picks and 1 fumble, for sure.
Maybe.
2 picks and a fumble.
Maybe so. All right, everybody's called theirs for the week, right? Yeah. All right, let me pull this back up here and make sure
I
we're
got
good.
the under on the turnovers.
You got the under on the turnovers.
I do too.
Whoa.
I do too. I say 2 turnovers.
2.
Keon, on
they just
brand.
skip
I need
it.
75-yard drives. I don't need 10-yard drives where Carson just throws for 10 yards. I need 75 yards for that 400 yards to hit.
No, you're right. You're right. You need at least like 2 of them to be picks almost in our red zone so Carson can work the field. You need to
Preferably
honestly.
from the 1-yard line or the half-yard line. You know.
Yeah. And then we need to score touchdowns on those same drives too. So I get it.
All right, boys, we're going to do this. We're going to do it very quick. DGD Pickems, right, for week 1. Now, with that being said, last week for week 0, we did not have locks and we did not have upset picks. Okay, so I want to make sure. I want to make sure how we make sense of this. Okay, so with that being said, now that we are including locks and upset picks, the lock cannot double dip. Right, so the lock and upsets cannot double dip. So with our 10 games in our picks, you cannot say, for instance, say Minnesota UNC that's going on right now. Say if you had picked UNC, you cannot say that the upset is Minnesota over UNC. We can't do that, right? I'll allow same games, but it can't counterbalance, right? So I want to make sure it's like, say, for instance, if you have a lock, because locks are covering spreads at this point, right? So with a lock of the week, you have the spread based off of whatever source you're using. I preferably use I use DraftKings just for the spreads and go from there. So we have the ability to we have the ability to dictate whether our lock of the week covers their spread or does not cover their spread. So that is something that will also factor into scoring as well. Now, with that being said, if there's any questions in the chat or here in the panel, we will air it out as we go. But with that being said, let's introduce the first matchup of the week. UCLA taking on Hawaii. Now, with that being said, there's my crutch, Dan. All of us are in favor of UCLA in this one. But Harrison, who do you have in this matchup?
Whew. Go ahead and give me the Rainbow Warriors over there in Hawaii. Give me the Rainbow Warriors. All right.
So this is just his thing. This is like a shtick for you.
Hey, I'm Stephen A. Smith, man. I just gotta go contrary to the popular opinion, I guess. Tonight.
Like every single time.
Every single time.
All
so
right, hold on.
I'm over here. I'm just here to fade Keon. That's what I'm doing.
No.
Keon's here to fade me. I'm here to fade Keon.
I got you, Keon.
That's
Do this shit with our next pick. Virginia Tech going to Vanderbilt. I dare you to fade this one. Everybody's got Virginia Tech in this one. Fade it. I dare you.
You don't believe.
It's Virginia Tech. It's the Hokies. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
It's the Hokies.
We're going to come back to this one. Guys, we were all wrong.
I swear, if Vanderbilt pulls that one out,
I'm going to come.
They might go to a bowl game.
Yeah, no, bullshit if that happens. All right, next one. Colorado State versus number 4, Texas.
unanimous consent.
Unanimous consent. It's all Texas.
It's all Colorado State.
I had to go for the home state.
My man trolling right now hard.
It's Texas.
Hard.
Hey, by the way, who picked Georgia Tech last week, by the way?
I don't know, but that guy was an asshole, wasn't he?
I think Kobe did. I don't know about Dan, but I know Kobe did, I think. With that being said, next one, South Dakota State. This is going to be interesting versus 17th ranked Oklahoma State.
Why do I feel like we're split? Okay.
Everybody's got Oklahoma State in this one. Listen, I think that could be a little bit closer. I like South Dakota State, but I think this is too much to handle against Oklahoma State and Ollie Gordon. Harrison, what say you, sir?
I mean, Ollie Gordon serving his punishment this game. South Dakota State, the Jackrabbits don't stand a
fucking
chance.
Rock.
He's going to tote it 50 times as his punishment.
Kirby, you can learn a thing or two after this.
Give me the Cowboys in that game.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, this is going to be interesting. Number 8, Penn State, traveling to Morgantown on the country roads.
This is for sure a split decision.
How is this interesting? There's no way. Okay, thank God.
Woo.
Harrison, what say you, sir? Everyone picking Penn State on this one. Harrison, are you fading?
Right?
Yeah, something like that.
West Virginia will cover, but it's going to be Penn State.
So cover, but Penn State. Okay, fair enough. All right, here we go, boys. Here we go. Number 7, Notre Dame. Number 20.
Wait.
Texas A&M.
Before you actually show the cards, let's let the listeners know. Notre Dame, their tackles, right, weigh 280. Go ahead, drop the card. I hope we're all together.
Texas A&M is a 3.5-point favorite, ranked number 20. So this is my question: how in the hell are they ranked number 20 if they're favored in the football game over
Vegas, baby?
Home field. They know something. Here we go. Here's the breakdown. Myself, Keon, and the Brigade are going with those Aggies, while Kobe and Dan is feeling like Georgia. It's feeling like Georgia Tech, Florida State, boys. Same layout. Same layout.
You know what's going to be crazy about this one? You know what's going to be crazy about this one? We're going to come back
here and Rudy and
I'm going to be like, Dan, what in the hell were you thinking? And you were going to be like, hey man, luck of the Irish, I guess.
Woo.
All Dan's missing is the green hat, and he just totally makes it for the mascot right there.
Did I? Hey, we're listen.
My grandfather's name is on the ceiling in the athletic dorm because he played there.
Really? That's amazing.
Chaps.
I can't fade my co-host, but I can certainly fade Keon. Give me the Irish.
Oh shit!
Keon's like, I'm on your game. I'm on.
We're
your
gonna
game.
hey, look, we're gonna come back to this, and I'm gonna be like, hey, how did those 280-pound tackles do against the fucking freight train of Texas A&M's defensive line?
Oh shit! All right, keep this in mind. Number 13 LSU,
Oh, God.
number 23
Look.
Southern Cal in Vegas, might I add.
Is
Garrett
this a 77 game?
What?
Is this 77?
Here we go. Everybody, LSU. All right,
Go
LSU. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Go Tiger.
Harry,
Go
Harry, you got them Tigers. You got them Trojans.
Hey, just for that impression, yeah, I'm going to trust LSU here. Lincoln Riley
Sauce boom.
consistently proven a fraud when he faces an LSU or an SEC team.
Tried to
Give
duck
me the
that
Tigers.
shit, by the way. Hold on, let's talk offseason. My man tried to duck that game.
He really did. He was scared for his life.
He's not ready.
By the way, I just got an email. Florida State is trying to sue me for doing an Ed Orgeron impersonation.
Fuck.
They're suing everybody. This one's going to be interesting, folks. This one is going to be very interesting, and that is number 19, Miami traveling to the Swamp and
who Robert's
the
not
Gators.
Going to the swamp. Swamp ass. Swamp ass.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Swamp ass.
Hold on. I want you to understand one thing. I'm going to pull the graphic up, and then I have to explain why we're seeing what we're seeing. Okay. So prefacing this, in the instance of a tie, the Brigade loses their choice, and my 6-year-old son Jaden will decide for them. And with that being said,
What the hell?
All right.
All right.
All right, Brigade. All right, come back. Quick question. Right? Look, dead at y'all, right? Are we
It's
not
not the
Georgia
Brigade.
fans?
It's not the Brigade.
It's
They
Jaden?
50-50'd it. Yes.
Did your son know that did you show him the Miami mascot?
I did.
This is a poor job. He picked a damn gator over the freaking bird.
He's grounded.
Is
I don't
this-
know.
Wait.
I don't.
No. Listen to me on this.
You
He's
failed.
got to be
your father.
grounded.
Shut the fuck up. In 2 picks,
There's
in 2 games, you're going to understand my man's logic, okay? Just fucking sit here and watch, okay? Just sit here and watch. So
Okay.
sit down, shut the fuck up, and let's get going.
I just
You
does
say
he
that.
know that you hate the Gators?
Oh,
Maybe
I
you
don't
didn't
think
convey that enough.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Harrison.
All right, boys. Harrison picks Miami. Clemson, number 14, Clemson versus number 1, the top dogs, if you will. We've already made that call.
Yo, Keon, can you beat Clemson?
It's all dogs.
No, not at all.
All dogs.
There's
All right,
no,
boys.
There's no
Listen.
way that you just asked me that.
Y'all want to sit there and tell me I'm doing a poor job, okay? I want you to understand one thing. When I let my son pick, I let him pick. No persuasion. This is 100% him, okay? And with that being said, his game of the week, Jaden's game of the week, folks. I hope you understand where you're getting at. UConn versus Maryland. UConn, Maryland, Jaden's game of the week. And with that being said, it is a clean sweep. The Terps. And you want to, and, I'm going to pull this up. Do you want to know why? I know why. Do you want to know why this game is the game of the week?
Turtles.
That's exactly why. And that's why he picked the winner. Welcome to 6 years old.
See, you're making jokes about it, but if they
I'm
come
not
out
joking.
there
I'm
and
being dead
actually
fucking
beat
serious.
They go out there and beat the shit out of UConn. We're gonna come back, and I'm gonna tell you that Jaden is fucking Rain Man, and that's his house now.
Also, Brigade, because this game of the week, so I have to make sure everybody's aware of this. Brigade had no say in this game of the week pick. So this is all up to a 6-year-old. Now, if he is wrong, you get no points. You don't lose points, you get nothing. But if he wins, sweetens the pot. You get 3 points in the point system instead of just your 1. Okay? Simple as that. Now,
I guess
when
I
it
can't
comes
say
to
it a 6-year-old, can I?
go for it. I'll tell him. And if he cries, I'm gonna fucking fight you.
Keon's like, get up and walk out. No, I'm taking the Terps here. We're riding with the Turtles.
Yeah, good call.
Dating a 6-year-old is crazy.
Well, hey, it's a hard world we live in. He's gonna have to learn at some point. But no, yeah. So I just wanted to clarify Jaden's game of the week. Brigade has no say in this one, folks. He does the picking. If you get it right, you do get 3 points. Now, because he picked Florida over Miami, if he's wrong, he's wrong. But if he's right, you get that point. You get 1 point because it's not the Jaden's game of the week. Just food for thought. So make sure you go vote on these polls, by the way. Locks of the week. Locks of the week, real quick. I've got James Madison over UNC Charlotte -8. Guys, Charlotte's head coach came out and said almost half his roster is banged up. And James Madison I've got them making my playoffs. They are a really good fucking team.
Look,
really good team. I've got them covering the 8 points. Keon and Dan, both of you have Alabama covering the 31-point spread.
I can explain, right? We took the safest picks, right? I took the safest pick for me because I was risky last year and I lost a lot, right? We're just going to go for the safe betting right here. Going ahead and take Alabama to win it.
I didn't play last year, but and I agree with Keon. It's a safe pick, but I also wanted to say that Alabama's breaking in a new coach, and they're trying to make a statement in game one. He's got something to prove, so they're not gonna just lay up game one.
Yeah, and then Kobe's lock of the week. He's got Georgia Tech covering 21, the -21 against Georgia State.
Upset alert.
Moving on to upset alert. Let's do this. So I'm going to break this down. So we have all of us have these covering spreads. So with that being said, say for instance, if Alabama does not cover, you get 0 points. You got they won the game. So that is your lock, but the cover is where you can get your extra points, the 2 or -2 or +2. So for instance, in the lock, if your team gets upset, right? If your lock loses, then you lose 2 points. If your lock wins but does not cover, like for instance, if y'all had the check mark for the cover, but say they won by 28 instead, then you get 0 points because you're incorrect cover choice. Now, you get 2 points if they cover the 31 points and obviously win. So that's the scoring for the lock of the week. Now, upset alert. Here we go. I've got Miami of Ohio upsetting Northwestern. They got a +3 there. Kobe has UNLV upsetting Houston with a 2.5-point spread there. Dan, you've got Notre Dame upsetting A&M. 3.5-point spread. And Keon's got Boston College upsetting Florida State with an 18-point spread. Keon, let's jump to you first. I know Florida State was a disappointment in week 0. Now, why you got them losing an 18-point spread?
Because there wasn't any other game that I could possibly pick and be honest with myself in believing in said pick. And I couldn't use any of my locks as the upset because technically, I should be able to use Texas A&M. Wait, no, are they favored? Is Texas A&M favored?
A&M is favored, yes.
Either way, there's no other options.
Oh,
and
by
plus,
the way,
like I've lost all respect for Florida State.
Let's try this. Hold on.
Yeah,
dogs on top, baby.
Literally.
Hey, my lock of the week, Florida State +16.5.
Okay, so you got them covering the 16.5. Just
this guy is the worst. This guy is the worst.
I'm gonna ride with Dan. I'm gonna ride with Dan the upset though. I think Notre Dame's gonna upset.
Listen, I'm gonna let you read it out. You got Mr. Retwist and the Fade Master down there. My God.
I mean, you know what? Isn't Mike Elko the new coach at Texas A&M?
He is.
Yes.
I actually think he's going to do a really good job, and I didn't even realize that he was
Duke Homer.
Yeah, I didn't know that he was there when I made my pick, but I'm going to stick with it because I just
You're
am.
stuck
But,
now. It's on the show. People
yeah.
holding you to.
And I double dipped. I didn't even realize I did that. So
Cheater.
Cheater.
Whatever.
Cheater, pumpkin eater. Guys, with that being said, that's our DGD Pickems for week 1. Let us know if we're right. Let us know what you think. Right? Let us know. Also, make sure, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Follow us on social media, right? Wherever you get your podcast, like, rate, and review.
Also, if I'm wrong on any of these, feel free to absolutely forget about it. We only want to know about the victories. We don't want to know about the losses. That's just not important.
No.
What the only column that matters is the column to the left. Okay,
Nah, we're like
all that matters.
CVS. Nah, hell no. We're like CVS over here, baby. Got a long list of receipts.
Fake news.
Long ass receipt list. Fake news, my ass.
That's it.
All right, boys. Any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up? Georgia versus Clemson. It is the preview.
It's gonna be a lot.
We got the at, Keon. I ain't forgetting. I got the at. We got the at.
You forgot. You forgot. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. Last thing, no matter if I'm wrong, I'm right. When I'm right, I'm right.
Typical
and
woman.
when I'm wrong, you're definitely not right. So
definite woman response right there. I ain't gonna lie. That's woman energy. Dan looks like he's about to take a customer service call.
From a tired customer.
Looking like Jake from State Farm with a white polo instead.
What are you wearing? Khakis.
$5.
She sounds hideous.
Well, she's a guy. So.
All right, boys and girls, that is all we've got for this episode. Make sure to come back in after the game Monday for the recap. Got dogs on top. Sound like Keon got dogs on top, belt to ass style.
Yeah, it's gonna be really bad for him.
Listen, and also, Keon.
Mm-hmm.
I want to preface this by saying we welcome anybody from any fan base, but for those Clemson fans that may stumble, can I finish, please? For any Clemson fan specifically this week that tunes into this to watch the preview, do you have any words for those Clemson fans?
Absolutely. Your team is ass, and you have to do that.
There you go, Clemson fans. With that being said, that's all we've got. Harrison, where can people follow you, man? Thanks for joining on the show. Where can people follow you?
At Harrison Reno. I think that's it. Yeah, at Harrison. I almost said at Harrison Reno 3 thing of Dan Kiley's at Harrison Reno on Twitter.
Dan, you're on his mind.
Hashtag Fade Keon this weekend. Go ahead and give me your follow.
Make that, yeah. Hold on.
And make sure he knows he's wrong if he's wrong.
I'm right.
Listen.
No matter what.
Listen.
No matter what.
If you're in this chat, or even after this video is live, after the live goes off, just drop us a comment saying fade Keon, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to come back to this.
I took over your show, Keon. I took over your show.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, fade Keon. Let's do it the whole year.
This shit.
Please.
He hijacked the fuck out of this. That's all of our show.
Walk into your chat, take over your trap. That's what's happening over here.
Man, I'm telling you, and y'all are going to be so hurt when we come back, and it's like, well, we weren't right on none of these shits. Yeah, I know.
Sorry, Robert. I'll let you wrap it up. My bad, brother.
With that being said, that's all we've got. That's all I've got. Thanks, Harry. You done made Dan hurt his
Harrison.
Hold on. Let's do this. Whose side are you on? If you're on Keon's side, fade Harry. If you're on Harrison's side, fade Keon. Let's see. I want to. That's our little poll without being a poll right now.
Just poll without a poll. Dan, whose side are you on? Loyalty being tested right here. Oh, that's the Lee Corso helmet. That's the Lee Corso helmet flip right there, or the helmet.
I'll tell you whose side I'm on.
That's good.
It's that damn Sasquatch. That's who. That's all we've got. With that being said, I'm Robert. That's Harrison down here. That's Keon right there. Dan right there. Go to dgdpodcast.com. Find us on our socials. Find out everything you need to know, guys. Oh, yeah, by the way, our game day, a giveaway from Alumni Hall, ends the 31st. So do that now. Go to our Twitter, pinned post, and enter for a $100 gift card to Alumni Hall. With that being said, that's all we've got. See, college football is back. Georgia football is back. Yeah. Prepare yourselves. Know where to run. Know where to hide. It's fucking go time. Have a great morning, evening, rest of your day, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs and fade Harry.
Go Dogs.